You can't really ruin your life in your 20s, but you can start your journey of building serious wealth when you're younger. So today, I want to talk about the 9 rules to becoming wealthy. Some of these are necessities, while others will help you just earn some extra cash or keep some extra cash in your pocket. Thing number 1 is to avoid debt. Man, debt kills wealth because it's essentially a payment you have to make to keep up with a past decision or a lifestyle choice. Now, to keep this step very short and simple, it is so important to avoid debt for one essential reason. It's a consistent payment you have to make. Now, what you might be thinking is, okay, well, I have to consistently pay my rent, I have to consistently pay my car off, I have to consistently pay for groceries. What makes debt different? Well, debt is for stuff you've already used in the past, whether that's an education, a car loan, a mortgage, right? Some debt isn't bad, like a mortgage isn't terrible. Student loan, when it's modest, is kind of normal too, and that's fine as well. But you still want to get out of that as quick as possible. Again, this is really important because if you're making a, let's say, $500 student loan payment every payment period, take that $500 and then instead of putting it towards debt, imagine if you put it towards investing. Say you start investing $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year you start investing into your future, which is going to grow and compound so much over time. And that all starts by getting out of debt and then avoiding debt. Again, never go into credit card debt, never go into consumer debt, never take out personal loans unless you have to, unless there's literally no other choice, because if you do go into this type of debt, it's not impossible to get out of, but it's making your life so much harder when you can make it easy and invest the money instead of paying it towards debt payments. Frugal tip number 2, lower living expenses. Your living expenses, more like your necessities, are some of the most important expenses to spend money on. They're also most of your major expenses. Now, what you might be thinking is, dude, I need a place to live, I need a car, I need clothes, I need food to eat. And while yes, those things are really, really important, I'm not saying to not cover those basic necessities. What I am saying is what really is a basic necessity, right? We need to live in a house. That's a no-brainer. But do you need a $1 million mansion or do you need an $1,000 apartment that does the job if you're 20? Do you need to be eating out fancy T-bone steaks every night, or can you settle for cooking at home most nights with an occasional run to a fast food joint when you really want it? Do you need a super fancy car on a car payment, or can you just settle for a beater car that's a good used option, right? Some of those things lead to debt. Some of those things are just genuinely really expensive, but oftentimes we don't need those things. We just need food to keep us alive. We need shelter to keep us alive. And so if we can lower those basic living necessities to a cheaper option, we're going to save so much extra money because it's really taking up a major part of our budget. Frugal habit number 3 is to start a side hustle. Now, I am not all for money. I think you should have a life. I think you should pursue a family. I think you should pursue a faith. I think you should do all of those things, and I think those things are absolutely amazing. That being said, having a side hustle is a great way to increase your income, even if it's just slightly. The piece of advice I would give for a side hustle is to make it something you enjoy doing. I love making content. I love making YouTube videos, so that's what I go towards. I've had so many channels over the past few years, and it's just a fun way I can earn some side money while doing something I love. If it one day turns into a full-time career, then that's great, but if not, that's fine too. Find what that is for you, and for some people, it might be as simple as door dashing. Door dashing can be fun. You can just get in your car, drive around, and listen to music and earn some extra bucks. There's nothing wrong with that. Will that lead to a full-time career? Probably not. But if you enjoy driving around and you want to earn a couple extra bucks that you can invest or spend on something else you want, then great, go ahead and do that. Again, don't let a side hustle take over your life. But if it adds some extra money in your pocket and you enjoy it, why not do it? Frugal rule number 4 is get crazy frugal. Now, you're like, okay, well, this video is about being frugal. I need to apply these other 8 tips, and that's crazy frugal. Sure, that's part of it, and that could be a part of your process if you want it to be, and I think that's absolutely amazing. However, what crazy frugal really means is just doing some random stuff that people find crazy. Again, something I like to do, for example, is to use a grocery plastic bag as a bathroom trash bag. I know that's not crazy, but it saves a couple extra bucks instead of buying those fancy trash bags, right? Again, I use those for my kitchen because it's a bigger trash can, but if a plastic grocery bag does the job and I can save a few extra bucks, why not? Again, maybe for you spend a lot of money on coffee, and a crazy thing you can do is never shop out for coffee again and only make it at home. Maybe you get really crazy about it and you try to maximize the taste and the quality of it while still keeping that price low so you can save money, right? I don't know what this is going to be for you, and maybe you do like 3 or 4 different things, right? My garbage bag was just one example example of one thing I do. But there's a lot of crazy ways that you can maybe save an extra $5 to $10, but if you do 5 crazy things a month, that's 50 extra bucks you can put towards investing or saving, which is absolutely amazing. Rule number 5 is you have to invest a little. And I know investing can be scary, especially at a young age, but that is when the best time to invest is, for 2 main reasons. First off, time in the market will always beat timing the market. It's a really redundant saying that we often express a lot, but the younger you start investing, the more time you have for it to grow, and the more it grows, the more wealthier you'll be. The thing number 2 that people underestimate a lot is investing is a big mental game, meaning it's not really about the numbers. Sure, if you put in $1 million a day, it's going to grow a lot more than $100. Of course, I understand that. But a lot of the times, it's the mental toll of throwing away money that you're not going to see for 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 years. That can be a huge mental toll. And being able to do that when you're at a lower income, which is usually when you're at a lower or younger age, it's going to help you build that pain tolerance towards investing. So not only are you generating more money, but you're also becoming more mentally tough if you start investing at least a little bit when you're younger. Rule number 6 is to track your money. And this sounds really simple, but so many people don't do it. Setting up a simple budget can also help a lot, but oftentimes tracking your money, especially at a younger age when you don't have many expenses, is all you really need to do, right? Let me just share a personal story of mine. When I was in my younger years at college, I used to eat out a lot. I didn't really track it, but I'd go out to McDonald's, I'd get Domino's, I'd get Panda Express. All those are great and tasty. But then all of a sudden I started realizing, man, I'm spending a lot of money month after month, and I have really no expenses while I'm here. And then I realized that it was all going to fast food, when I could have just been using my meal plan, and I could have been eating for free. But instead, I was throwing away hundreds of dollars a month just for food that tastes just slightly better. And it was actually much more unhealthy. So it was just not a smart decision. But then I identified that. I was like, okay, I can still eat out, I can still get a pizza when I want to watch football, I can still go out with my friends from time to time, but for the most part, if I'm going out to get McDonald's by myself on a random Wednesday night, I should just instead go and hit the food court, eat for free, even though I'm really already paying for it, but then I'm saving a lot of money that way, and I'm actually eating healthier. Again, maybe it's not food for you, maybe it's something completely different, but you have to realize what it is, track your money, see where some major expenses are going, and see if you can cut back a little bit. Rule number 7 is to cut out alcohol. Now, a lot of these rules I said were necessities. This really isn't a necessity rule, but it's a big help. Again, for me, I've actually never drank alcohol in my life. Now, what you might be thinking is you're probably not over the age of 21, which I am. I just have chosen not to. I don't see any point in drinking alcohol. It's literally drinking poison. It makes your brain funky. And when you're at a younger age, you should be trying to pursue a goal of excellence and not getting drunk and throwing away nights and days and mornings when you wake up hungover. And not to speak of the actual financial detriment, I know guys around my age who are spending hundreds of dollars a month on alcohol. Again, you can become wealthy, you can become a secret millionaire if you have a glass of bourbon every once in a while, or having a couple Bud Lights while watching football. I'm not saying those things can't happen, but if you want to put some extra money in your pocket and you want to be able to use your brain to its full capacity, just commit to not drinking alcohol. It's really simple, and a lot of successful people actually don't drink. So I would recommend to any young guy out there or lady out there to just cut it out of your life early or only on special occasions. Rule number 8 is environment control. Now, we as men want to think that we're tough and we can handle anything in adversity, and that's a great mentality to have. I'm not saying that's a bad mentality at all, but sometimes we get so caught up in that we get prideful, and we consume whatever content on social media we want, we hang out with whatever friends we want. However, some social media content and some friends around us can keep us really broke. It can make us spend money we don't want to spend. We can spend a lot of time we don't want to spend with people that really don't pour into us at all. And maybe we date somebody who has just terrible spending habits, and then we're buying gift after gift, going date after date, and then we're losing thousands a month on useless dates that don't really help us get to know this person any better. And it's just, not a good fit. Again, control your environment. Make sure if you're dating someone, they line up with your financial goals, because you want to be in the pursuit of marriage. And if you're not going to marry the girl, you're just spending a bunch of money on dates that you don't need to. Hang out with friends that care about saving money, right? I feel like we all have that one super money saver friend who will do anything to save a buck. And while you don't have to go to that level of extreme, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we have friends that literally just only go to the mall and shop, and then they just leave with hoodies and sneakers that they only wear once, and then it's like, what are we doing? Right? Control your environment. And this is where it's like, oh, we can do whatever we want, consume whatever we want, but if we're watching a bunch of just content on the internet of rappers going out and getting iced out and getting all this fancy Balenciaga, Gucci stuff, we're gonna be drawn to that. It's just as simple as that. What we take in goes to our heart, and then we want to spend money on those dumb things as well. I'm not saying from time to time you can't get a nice watch, but if we're always consuming this materialistic content, our hearts and what we desire are going to become materialistic as well, so we want to make sure that we're not doing that. This is something I really don't struggle with too much, and I don't say that out of pride, it's just something I don't struggle with. But if you do, make sure you're following people who are giving good financial advice and not bad financial advice. Pretty simple. And rule number 9 is to set goals. Now, this sounds really arbitrary and foo-foo-y, and I understand that, but there is actually real psychology to this. People who set goals are way more likely to achieve goals, so you might as well set them, right? A lot of goals in my life really aren't too financial, right? I want to buy a house one day, I want to invest, and I want to retire maybe a little bit early, and I want to set my kids up to be able to go to college if they want to, right? They're pretty simple, they're pretty arbitrary, as they don't really have an exact dollar amount assigned to them, but they give me something to chase, something to pursue, and I think there's just something psychological about us when we set goals because we're just more likely to achieve them. There's a lot of studies on it. I've looked into it a lot. So set goals. It's pretty basic. They don't have to be anything too crazy, but they'll help you achieve a wealth status for sure. If you enjoyed this video, check out another video of mine on your screen right now. I know you'll love it.